おありがとうございます。おありがとうございます。おありがとうございます。お願いします。お願いします。おください、ください、ください、ください。これは何ですか？カラオケですよ。これは何ですか？ It's an idiot Englishman walking through Japan.
I really only need two things on a journey. The first thing I need is a rough idea of what I want to do. May I help myself? And the second thing is an exact idea of what I can do. So in this case, walking the entire length of Japan, I'm going to be a 3-mile-an-hour tourist. Except on mountainsides, where things slow down to a quarter of a mile an hour or less, depending on the weather and the terrain.
Snickers, the walker's friend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, we'll need that. There aren't any roads in northeastern Hokkaido, so I'm in this boat looking for a place to start. I've spent a lot of time in Africa and the Americas, but this is the most alien country I could think of. 75% of Japan is virtual wilderness, the rest, and this is the most crowded country on Earth, enigma. The first walk I ever went on, I was 10. I weighed out the food as if it was gold dust. I knew the maps back to front. I had every campsite planned to the nearest square inch. 2 days before I was due to set out, I put a pitchfork through my foot. End of walk. I've never bothered much with plans since. I eat more or less when I'm hungry, sleep when I feel like it, and if something interesting is happening, I just take the day off. It's been my way of life for the past 20 years. Oh, amazing. A superb view.
The spine of the country is easy to see. It just goes like a switchback all the way along. 1,500 miles to go. This is the best sort of walking there is. All along that ridge is where I'm going to go. And then tomorrow all the way along the spine. And the route is the top, up and down. I love being up on ridges like this. But now and again, I'm going to have to dip down into civilization. I usually walk alone. But apart from feeling a little self-conscious to start with, the presence of the film crew hasn't really bothered me that much. In fact, it might be a good thing. I'm hoping that having a translator will actually extend simple good mornings into something far broader.
ここ行った理由、基地がもう移住民だね、北海道来たのは。みんな昔入ったのはその移住民っていうね、それが終戦後は開拓っていうことになってるけどね、中国は何も引いてだからね。
Tell him that I was a soldier too, for 3 years, and I was in the parachute regiment.
8月の15日のこの終戦っていうのが全然わかんないの。モザン、鉱山機関銃ってね、重機関銃だから対空機関銃で文献になっておったからね。だから僕は発電所は自爆するでしょ。ラジオはみんなあれちゃったからね。 放送局がないから全然聞こえなかった。それで今度はもうモザンっていうところに憲兵隊がおったもんだから、そこへ今度は行ってね、いろいろ情報を収集してやったら終戦になったのは確実だっていうことでね。それから今度はどうするかって言ったけど、記者たちは今度はどうするって言われてもどうもならんから、だからここで解散するから思い思いに握りくれって言われて、それにも言うとね、今度は途中でほら朝鮮人にね、朝鮮人のおやはぎ、わかるかい？おやはぎってわかるでしょ？おやはぎそれにあってさ、服から何からお金から何から全部取られちゃった。それからもう食べるものも何もみんなどこでも構わないもん、あるものそれこそもう泥棒だね。なんでも今ならあんまり贅沢すぎるような感じだね。
I feel in Japanese towns pretty much what I feel in English ones, which is to say I feel other people's eyes. I've been walking all day, and if this were an empty mountainside, I'd be visibly drooping, but right now I'm in public, so I'm doing my John Wayne act, pretending I could go on walking all night, when all I'm really thinking about is the luxury of a bath and a bed. I've spent the last couple of miles trying to memorize the Japanese for hotel.
Just a light beef snack. Must be half a cow in here. That's great. Should this go in here? Ah, right. I thought I was supposed to eat it raw. Whoops. It's nice raw. I feel as if I'm eating in a fog. I don't know what to do. The guy here obviously thinks I'm a cannibal.
When I was a child and started to read, a lot of what I read was adventure stories and so on, like any other kid. And it always struck me that adventurers and my heroes didn't seem to spend much time indoors. They were always constantly on the move and doing wonderful things. And I couldn't ever square that with houses and roads and 3 meals a day and all that sort of thing. And I still can't. It's difficult to think of anything relevant to say when you come up to a volcano like this. You get to the lip, and you look down, and there's nothing to say. You just sit and watch. Well, tonight I'm going to be cheeky and have a campsite right here. Because although it looks hard, it really isn't. You can get a tent peg into that. But it's not a good place to have a camp. It's much too exposed. And there's a drop of about 1,000 feet straight down there. But I just can't resist it. Let's just hope I don't get blown off the side. This ground looks really hard, but it isn't. It's just volcanic sand and tough. Now for some refinements, like getting the tent roughly the shape the manufacturer intended. I've been walking for 2 weeks now. Just over. I still really haven't got into it. What do I mean by that? I haven't left England behind. Mainly because I'm not alone. But what I have left behind is the feeling that Japan is whatever, and is just an image. Or Japan's represented by, say, the people you see in Piccadilly Circus in the summer, the tourists and so on, or the businessmen. It's beginning to be a couple arguing, or someone chucking rubbish away, or someone driving recklessly badly, or someone making something really well or working hard. It's beginning to be lots of tiny little pictures. It's beginning to be a proper place, in other words, with people actually people and not just images or ideas that I've had from 10,000 miles away. So, although perhaps I haven't started seeing the place as well as perhaps I might be at this stage of a journey, at least it has shed its plastic wrapper, and I can start to smell it. Whoever marked this as a footpath ought to be sentenced to some of it. Actually, this is a good one. Japan's got virtually no long-distance trails whatsoever. I reckon someone ought to set out with a chainsaw and make some. The thing about socks is if they're really soaking wet, they'll probably give you blisters. But if they're... I'll probably give you blisters anyway. But if you can do what you can to keep them dry, then there's that much less chance of mucking up your feet. Look at that. See, they've been soaked all morning, and they're just another prime candidate, because in about a mile, there's a bit of road to do, and you just take the same pace all the time on a road, and that will blister them. Well, it's 100 yen, whatever it is. You get very hungry when you're walking. Every time, more or less every time, I pass somewhere like this, I'd at least give it the once over. And if it's instant food, then I'll buy as much as I can eat. And you never put on weight. You just keep shedding it. So, if you like junk food, long walks are the thing for you. And I love it. Not really my type. Most of the baths here make you scream for a cold shower. And this one's no exception. It's baking. The crew's going home tomorrow, and I'll be on my own for a month. I suppose on my own is the wrong thing to say. There's 120 million people in this country. I found meeting people quite difficult. Mainly because of the language, but also because a long walk generates its own momentum, and I begin to feel guilty if I stop too long. The path problem's interminable. The trouble with being on roads is that my pace doesn't vary, and for the past 200 miles, every step's been the same as the one before it. I'm afraid the constant jarring is giving me some serious trouble in my right shin. The most difficult thing about an injury is to admit to yourself that you've got it. It's amazing how fast a walk can turn into a disaster. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not broken or anything, I'm sure, but I suppose I'll find a doctor and get told to rest it. I mean, that's what they always say. So, I'll rest it. Still, at least it'll be out of the rain. I'll find a dry room somewhere. Great.
Long week, 10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
You keep rest and
40.
I think, and rest. You can continue. You use crutch.
What I've actually got boils down to an inflamed muscle sheath in my shin. The cure's simple if difficult to accept, and it's just that you stop walking till it goes away. People in bars are always very curious. They ask me what I'm doing and so on. At which stage in Britain you'd probably be bought a drink. Here you get a song sung for you as well. The trouble is you have to sing one back. This injury time is turning out to be a real bonus. I'm staying with a farmer on the edge of town. Luckily for me, his father's a great teacher. The last farm I worked on was a 50-square-mile sheep ranch in Patagonia. It was 200 miles from the nearest town. Sato San's 12 acres are actually in town. The small scale of Japanese agriculture constantly amazes me.
Well, why? I mean, this is now in the town, this area here, and you could put maybe 4 or 5 houses on this plot. Why don't you sell it?
Me? Oh, I must keep land.
Why?
Because I inherit this land from my ancestors.
But if you sold the land, you would never need to work again.
It's bad for farmers to sell land because one reason is our land I did not buy. My father did not buy. Or my grandfather did not buy. No one knows who got this land for the first time. But we know this land is inherited, the generation to generation. And I am cultivating now here, but I did not buy this. So I must, give it to next generation without charge, without money.
You think she's a good cook?
Yes. Yeah, she's a natural cook. She's not just good, but good.
He?
Yeah.
I had not thought English gentlemen worked so hard.
They don't. I'm not a gentleman.
You are not gentleman. That's why you work hard.
I think I'm better. I've done a couple of test runs and my leg seems okay, but the injuries cost me the best part of a month. So if I'm to make it across the Japanese Alps by winter, I need to make up for lost time. All this is going to be frozen solid in about a month's time. It's the end of the walking season, and most of the mountain huts are closing now till the spring. But in the ones that have wardens, you can still get meals. Konnichiwa. この山、歩きて大丈夫？
あ、大丈夫ですよ。
雪？
雪は20センチぐらい。
アイセンあかれません。
アイゼンがない。アイゼンあった方がいいんだけど、なくても大丈夫。
大丈夫？
大丈夫。アイゼンなくても。
Okay. 美しい。色カラー。
カラー？
色美しい。変 people かわいい私 so travel mucho viajar 私 because afraid かわいい of people あなたはこの縁同じ
本当に必要なもの、それだけで生活してみたかったわかる、だから空気と水と火と火ね、とフード、そしたら生きられる9年も生きられた、
十分
enough
大丈夫
あ、大丈夫。あ、まだある。でも、オープン。オープンってか。Follow me. Time. time.
Right.
Crazy.
I'm not sure if I really mean this, Bao. I think I'd rather it were a kiss.
Ptarmigan. It's a pair of ptarmigan. Male and female. Really tame. Come on, Tommies. Hey. I love their feet. They're like owl's feet. They're really furry. Hairs off my hands once again. It's strange to think in Hokkaido, about 2.5 months ago, I was making tea out of last year's snow. And now I'm making it out of fresh snow.
Cup of tea. We'll be in a minute.
Oh, tea. One for the camera. One for me. Oh. Look at that. It's all puffed up. It's because of the altitude. It was packed at sea level, and we're at 10,000 feet here. This is the second highest mountain in Japan. The first being Fuji, which is about another 2,000 feet higher than this. It's over there, in the murk. Maybe we will see it. I hope we do. I'm going to put that there by the table. No, despite the fact it's so high, it's just drizzling a bit. No, it's not so cold. And October's a bad time, really, to walk on the mountains because the snow comes and it goes. It can be just beautiful, beautiful weather 1 minute, and the next it's snowing and you're freezing. You'll notice that I have the ladies' garter on. It's really nice. I came down off another peak across here called Senjo. And it was raining, horrible. This was the day before yesterday. I came down the hill through the trees to a hut, and the huts are marked on the map. But some huts are manned and some aren't. So I walked up to this place and opened the door. And there was Michiko sitting there. I stayed 2 nights. Behind me is Kitadake, which in Japanese means North Peak, which is not much of a name for the second highest mountain in Japan. I came down that last night, slept the night in a hut down in the coal there, and this morning we have on our left the highest peak in Japan. Amazing. It's about the most classic view you could get of it. It's just a little tiny bit of snow on top, and the sun just about 5 minutes ago came up. Just ace. It's like a geography textbook.
This is how I imagine all long walks are going to be. Way above the timberline, mountains for miles, nothing between you and the sky. They're not, of course, but it's great when it happens.
I'm tired now. Ooh. I can feel it. You just don't have quite the power or the volition in your legs, and they don't quite do what you want them to do.
After about a week or 10 days, which I've spent in the southern Alps of Japan, my memory starts to go and I forget what it's like to be back down in villages and on roads. In the mountains, you could be in more or less any country. There's not that many things to remind you of where you are. But down here, you're definitely back in Japan. And you change from being a hero on the hilltop to being a tramp. Private house or a temple? Or
This is temple.
Originally, it always has been.
Middle age,
Yes.
1330. So almost
Pretty old.
600-700 years ago. Zen temple. So just I explained to her this kind of stone. There's something there for meaning of the mountain, water, etc. If you look in Italian garden, it's straight on, symmetric, very beautiful. But human power, you can see. But this is look like natural, but also made human-made.
In my own mind, I'm trying to decide what a Japanese garden, what aspect of Japanese thought the garden symbolizes, as opposed to what aspect of Western thought a Western garden symbolizes. I couldn't.
So I think perhaps if you want to know, you must make the empty your mind. The Meister always telling to the people, if you want to have something, they never show.
This walk so far has been mostly through countryside. I've deliberately avoided Tokyo, but I can't avoid the Kyoto-Osaka conurbation, which is the second largest group of people in Japan. So if you're going to pick a town, you might as well pick a good one, and this is it. Those sandals cost £700 the pair. $1,000? Japanese are probably the most highly educated people in the world. And walking into a bookshop, which this is a fairly large one, it shows. And there are a lot of people reading the comics. But, I mean, look at this. Walking into a bookshop in England, be full of the assistants, that's about it.
And this is just a station bookshop. This isn't a main, huge bookshop. It's unremitting, isn't it? There's no, or very little green. Having said that, there's a place with some bonsai trees or some well-clipped trees down there. The Japanese quarter of Osaka. And this goes on for 50, 60 miles. Really nice to see the sea again. 3 down and 1 to go. The next time we see the sea will be the end of the 4th island, Kyushu, which is right on the horizon now.
Nippon 日本ザルは年功序列の社会を作ってまして、長く群れにいる人がリーダーになります。経験が長いっていうことがリーダーの条件です。これは非常に日本人の今まで作ってきた社会文化に非常に共通してますね。面白いです。で非常に平和に非常に大きい集団で平和に生活できるというテクニックを持ってますね。
同じです。
同じですね。来る人がいなくなると次に長い人が繰り上がるっていう。わかります？それだけですけど、非常にリーダーが平和にチェンジできる。
There are 3 monkey groups here, so A, B and C. But the thing that really hits me is they've got the exact population, 1,019 in group A, 527 in group B and so on. I mean, what happens if one's at the dentist? It's so Japanese. It's just factual stuff. Bonk. And it's bound to be correct. I bet you there are 1,019. I didn't count them all, but there you go.
Today was a pretty lousy day all round as far as the weather goes. And I found that my attitude to the weather's changed quite a bit. Before, if it's a bad day, it used to annoy me. Well, now it doesn't. It makes me a bit fed up. But it's just one of the things you have to put up with. But on the other hand, when it's a nice day, you're actually positively grateful for it. It doesn't just register as being a nice day, but it wangs you in the heart, and you're very grateful. And it's the same with shelters like this barn. I really don't very much like tents anyway, because they're claustrophobic. They smell of nylon. It's like sleeping in a polythene bag. But to have a barn on a night that's cold and rotten as this, you actually do feel grateful. It's not just something that crops up. This is the moment of truth when you're on a really good path like that and you've got to go off it. And you start disbelieving the map. Disbelief, which in most cases in Japan has been thoroughly justified. I don't know where it is. It's 6 and 2, 3, isn't it? The Parks and Gardens Committee have been derelict in their duty on this path. Beginning to get to the pissed-off stage. I've been whacking up and down this hill for about the past half an hour, looking for the path, which seems to have surrendered itself to nature. I just get to the stage where it's dangerous because you get soaked in snow, and you've got to somehow get down or find a path. And you can keep going for just a bit too long. Find yourself stuck. Come on! That was the best bit of the trip. But the last half day has been quite worrying, because being stuck up here at night and knowing that you've got maybe another 20 miles of this to go, I'd be out of food. I mean, it would take me 4 more days to get through that. I reckon I've done about 2 miles in the last 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that. Those are the bits you remember. I've been walking for 4.5 months, and I'm really beginning to feel at home. It seems strange, but the further into the mountains I go, the more Japan as a modern country reveals itself. It's not so much what people do, but how they actually do it. That's Japan. It doesn't matter if it's making charcoal by hand or cars by robot. The same basic values show through. The attention to detail, the teamwork, and above all, the sense of doing your duty. It's the form of a thing that seems to count in Japan. The container as much as the content. This is probably the last village I'll stay in. And if I've been looking for anything on this walk through Japan, this is probably it.
I speak English at the first time. I meet you. Today.
First time you speak English?
Yes.
イギリスの日本で共通点なんですか？
共通点はですね、私が考えるところによると、イギリスはジェントルマン、紳士の国ということで、非常に世界各国に知れておりますね。と日本の世界に知れているということは神の国なんですよ。神道ですね。神様がその天皇陛下が神様になる。それじゃ日本は神の国を 一つ大きな柱としてですね、日本を売っていきたいと考えております。それでこの、今から祭りもいろいろあるんですけれども、ほとんど神様を称える祭りですね。神様を称えたりと、神様のために、山にしても山の神、川にすれば川の神、家には家の神といろいろありますけれども、ほとんどここの私たちの部落ではそういうふうな神様を大事に祀ってあります。
Ogawa-san says he's invited me here because he reckons I've walked far enough to understand how mountains can have spirits. And I actually agree with him. Swords and headbands and the rising sun are symbols far older than the Second World War. An echo of times when European mountains had their gods too, when midwinter sunrise was a tumultuous event. It's not easy to say why I walk and climb mountains. And I suppose at heart I'm one of the kids down by the riverbank, usually boys. The difference being that the rest of the gang grew up. A good journey never really ends. The miles do, but the time itself stays with you. It becomes part of you. At the end of a walk, it's not so much a feeling of triumph that I have, it's more of gratitude. It's as if it's Japan that's been walking through me, not me walking through Japan.
Next week's Compass follows two British anglers on their Himalayan adventure to capture a great fish. Casting for Gold is next Tuesday at 10:35.
Compass is a Granada presentation in association with Barclaycard Visa.